guys, Marmalade here again for Q&A number 11, and let's get started right away with question number 1. So my first question is from Cheryl Kastorf, and she had asked me actually a while ago, my phone doesn't have a good battery for mapping, music, etc. Is solar power the way to go? Is it lightweight? So that is very mixed reviews. It's all personal preference. I did try it. If you noticed, when I did the desert, I kind of did this backwards, but I wasn't worried as much in the desert about the long carries. I carried a couple different Anchor batteries for backup to back up my devices, and especially because I vlog so much, take so much photography and edit at night, things like that, and I'm on my phone a lot, I needed a backup battery. So in the desert, the first 702 miles, I did not use the solar charger. The solar charger I have that I've had for a couple years, it's called the Syntactics S5 Ultralight Solar Panel. I guess solar charger. And this is what it looks like. It is 6 inches by 6 inches closed, and open is 6 by 11. So very small. If you can see, like the size of my hand. What I like is it's only 7 ounces, and it's very simple. It's just solar panels. It's on a hard kind of plastic material. It's laminated, and I used it in Washington for my 200 miles before I went home. And it's laminated, so it rained on it quite a bit. I just put it on top of my pack and let it do its thing. It's very simple. All it's got is this input for USB, and what I did was I basically attached this. This is what these 4 carabiners are for. I created a way with some shot cord to just attach this to the top of my pack while I'm hiking, and I'd have my cord, my USB cord, to one of my 2 batteries, and I would just literally put my battery in the back stretchy pouch of my backpack and just let it charge all day. It was really more of an experiment. I was going to send it home after a while if it didn't work, and it didn't work very well for me in Washington because it was cloudy and it rained a bunch. It was sunny some, and it did work when it was sunny, but also I was in the trees a lot, and when you have that, you're just not getting much charge. So my theory was to you don't really get a lot of charge out of these for the most part, but I wanted to kind of, like, if I had used 20% of my battery the day before to charge up my phone, I kind of wanted to top that off and keep it going. So it was my experiment, but I think I experimented in the wrong place because obviously the desert's a better place. I just didn't really need it, but I should have tried it there. But this is very good. It's on Amazon. I think it's $109.95 right now. Very good, 7 ounces, like I said. Very small, comes with a bag. So you might check that out. Our next question is from Solo Over 50. She had asked me, how much do I charge to load an iPod with music for my thru hike? That's actually could be a side business, right? Loading people's iPods for music, but it's all, you know, again, music is personal preference, so what I like might not be what you like, but I thought that was kind of a cute question. But she did ask, where do I find all the great music we hear on your videos? So before I really started thru hiking and trying to grow my channel, I didn't really care. I just went on iTunes and bought music, and I used it in my videos because I wasn't monetizing, and I wasn't getting much views, so it didn't matter. But you do have to worry about copywritten infringement. So most of the hikers use Epidemic Sound. And this site is it's got something like over 70,000 songs, and it's uncopywritten music. It's $15 a month, unlimited uploads. I'll show you a few pictures right here. What I like is, depending on the feel of the video, I pick the music to kind of go with the feel of the video. What I did on my hike too, just a little tip, and you can save it depending on the kind of phone you have. I have an iPhone. I use my generic Dropbox. I think they give you a certain amount of gigabytes before you have to start paying for it. But I uploaded and picked all types of music, short and long, fast and slow, dramatic, fun, rock, you know, soul, R&B, lots of ambient music is what I use probably for the most part. But I just saved a lot of different types of songs in my phone so that when I was out on my hike, I would get the video done, and then I would kind of look in my video and see how much time I had. Say I had 2.5 minutes between when I talked and the next time I talked. I would try to find a song that was 2.5 minutes long roughly, and the kind of music that would fit the video. So that's what I did. But yeah, go check out Epidemic Sound. It's $15 a month, and it's unlimited, uncopywritten music. All right, so the next question is from Gail Walker. And she had asked me, it's a pretty interesting question. She said, in camp, did you find that you enjoyed all the people around you, or did you prefer to be on your own? So when most people start, I would say the majority of people start going northbound from Campo, start alone, and there are a few people that go by themselves. For the most part, most people are alone, and we create what we call tramlies, which is an abbreviation for trail family. And I think it's human nature to want to be with other people. I think not only do you get lonely and you want conversation, but also I think you feel a little safer to be in groups. So that's how you generally start alone, but create groups. Even if it's just one other person. I hiked with Adam and Grant, so for the most part I would say 500 of the 700 miles in the desert I hiked with Adam and Grant. To answer your question, I would say that mostly it was really great. In Washington I hiked by myself almost the whole time, except for the beginning with Dave. I actually was kind of hankering to hike with other people, and I was supposed to join a group that was catching up to me days before I got hurt, so I was kind of bummed that they finally caught up to me and I couldn't hike with them because I couldn't keep up with them. But no, I had a couple experiences where it wasn't that great on trail. There was one called, I think, Pear Lake, where the mosquitoes are horrendous. Right next to the lake. It's a beautiful sight, but you just couldn't be outside. They were eating you alive. And ended up being about 15 or 18 tents that night in this one spot, which is normally good. My tent happened to be kind of in the middle of everything, so everybody chose. One way you can combat mosquitoes is to wear your rain gear and a mosquito net. Wear your rain gear so they can't bite you. But about 15 people decided to sit outside of my tent to make that the area to just kind of BS and catch up and talk about the trail. And I was in my tent because of the mosquitoes, and they were there for hours upon hours upon hours. And I was trying to take a nap, and then I was trying to go to sleep. And I can't tell them, hey, quiet down, because it's their hike too. So I kind of felt it was an inconvenience. But for the most part, I really enjoyed the people I met. I met people from all over the world, all different types. I think that the numbers right now, it's 60% male and 40% female on the trail, so the females are catching up, which is great. And so I just met lots of good people. So overall, I really liked the experience. There was times when I liked camping by myself too, but yeah, I think it was just a mix of everything. I'm fine, and I kind of mentally prepared to go by myself on the trail if it happened, but I knew it wouldn't. But overall, I think backpackers are very courteous and thoughtful. So my next question is from Jeff Roberts, and he had asked me, is about my sleep system. What did I wear to sleep in? Were you warm enough, or did you have to sometimes sleep in your puffy and beanie? So I'll show you a picture of what I use for my sleep clothes at the end of what I'm going to say here, but it's by 32 Degrees is the name of the company, and I had a top, bottom, and I actually had an extra pair of Darn Tough socks that were clean ones that were my backup in case I lost or had holes in my other Darn Tough socks. So I wanted clean clothes because of a couple reasons. Mainly I wanted to get off my filthy, sweaty, stinky clothes, but also I wanted to have long arms and legs and socks on to cover my body completely so that I didn't get my quilt and my air mattress filthy. Then when I just did laundry like once a week or whatever it was when we got into town, I'd wash them and they'd be fine. So that's what I did. So here's a picture of them. I like them because they're very thin, very light. They compacted in my clothing bag, and for the most part I was warm. I have a 10-degree quilt. To answer your question though, I did, because your head is exposed, I did wear my beanie a lot. I would say half the time at least I wore my beanie. I also had some gloves I wore just to keep your head and your hands warm, keeps you warm, even though my hands were inside my quilt a lot. I wore my puffy a lot. I bet you of the 70-something days I wore it probably 20 nights, maybe more. There was one night I wore everything I own because it was so cold on top of Fuller Ridge. It was 28 degrees with like 50-mile-an-hour gale force winds. So yeah, so that's my sleep system. Our next question is from Bobby Gator. He asked, during your first 300 miles this year, did you have difficulty finding a tent site, considering so many hikers are fresh on the trail? If so, what did you do? So a couple tips. I think it's relative. There seems to be more tent sites early on with more people. I don't know the stat. I want to say, I'm just going to go off the top of my head, something like 20 or 30% don't make it past 100 miles. So that 110 miles is Warner Springs. So I don't even know if that's true or not. But if that is true, then obviously spots start opening up more and more and more. There's places like Warner Springs where it can hold hundreds of people, so that's a campsite. You go to Mike's place, which is 18 miles further than Warner Springs. There's tons of spots and so on. So there's intermittently big, huge public areas where you camp, so it's not a problem. I did not have a problem. I think it depends on how late you go, because I think for a couple reasons I like to get up really early and get going. I love the morning when I hike, and I can get my 20 plus miles in and sometimes finish by 5, you know, and then I can get a campsite, and in the summer it's dark till 8:30 or later, and some people keep hiking, so sometimes if you can get your miles in and get done at a decent hour, you'll have a better shot at campsites. The other thing, you know, Gut Hooks, the app we all use, shows campsites, but there's a lot of stealth sites when you're on the trail, especially in Washington. I saw a lot where, you know, there's the standard spots that are on Gut Hooks, but there's a lot of campsites that are worn in, that are you're not going to break ground freshly and ruin a new area, but they're there. A lot of times off trail, you see a worn out trail going off into the forest, and I've taken them up there, and you find like some sweet spots that are worn in, that are existing campsites that are not on Gut Hooks, and so you find that throughout the desert too. So no, I didn't have a problem. So yeah, that was an issue for me. All right, so that's it for this week's Q&A. This is number 11 already, hard to believe. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support and all the kind words. And I'm going to keep asking you guys. I've been getting more questions this last time, so keep giving me questions. Give me a list if you need them, and I'll do my best to answer them. I do write them all down. Like one of the questions asked today was one I was asked 11 weeks ago, so I have them all down, and when I get to them, or I have the right gear to show or things like that, I do it. So don't worry if I don't answer your question right away, I will get to it. Again, make sure you subscribe and like. If you're on Facebook, share this. And as I said before, I would love for you to go check out my my Patreon account. It's patreon.com. I'll put the link below in the description. But patreon.com, and you can find me at Mike Marmalade Lawrence. And just check it out. Once you become a patron, you can see some of the things. I'm just starting to use it and post it, and I have another idea, something I'm going to post here pretty quick. My new Marmalade logo's on there that I eventually will show all of you, but people on the Patreon site get to see it first. And I have some photography from my Washington hike, my through hike, that I haven't shown anybody yet, that they get to see. So just some cool things like that. But anyway, leave some questions. Join Patreon if you want to be a patron and help support me. I also am going to, like I said last week, I'm going to try to thank my patrons and have your name on there and show you at the end of most of my videos. Not all of them, but most of them. Just thanking them for and appreciate it. And every dollar that I get from my Patreon account is going to I put it in a separate account. It's going to go to gear, it could be clothing, anything, but for my through hike. So it's going to go directly. You know, I may upgrade my camera, or I'm still thinking about that right now. I've got some good ideas from some of the patrons, so I'm looking into that right now. So it all helps me a lot reach my goal, which is to get back on trail and to help motivate and hopefully inspire some other people to get out there too. So anyway, thanks again, and until next time, we'll see you down the trail.